15 times Queen Elizabeth showed her unexpectedly sassy side. Queen Elizabeth was the longest reigning monarch in British history, serving as the head of state for over 70 years. Known for her stoic demeanor and unwavering sense of duty, the Queen was the embodiment of grace and dignity. However, beneath that regal exterior, Her Majesty also possessed a delightfully sassy side that would occasionally make an appearance, much to the delight of her subjects and admirers worldwide. In this video, we'll take a look at 15 times when Queen Elizabeth surprised us all by letting her guard down and revealing her sharp wit, mischievous humor, and playful personality. From her legendary one-liners and clever quips to her ability to poke fun at herself, these moments showcase the Queen's endearing human side and reminded us that even the most revered figures can have a delightfully sassy streak. So get ready to laugh, smile, and perhaps even gasp in disbelief as we explore the unexpected sassiness of the woman who ruled over the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth nations with both poise and a twinkle in her eye. Let's begin. Number 1. The Queen's cheeky photobomb. When it comes to sassy moments, few can top the Queen's epic photobomb during the 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. As hockey players from Australia and England posed for a celebratory selfie, little did they know that the Queen herself was about to make a surprise cameo appearance. With impeccable timing and a mischievous grin, Her Majesty popped her head into the frame, photobombing the unsuspecting athletes. The players' expressions of pure shock and delight were priceless, as they realized the icon herself had just crashed their picture. This moment perfectly encapsulated the Queen's playful side and her ability to surprise even her most devoted subjects. It was a reminder that despite her lofty position, she was still game for a bit of fun and didn't take herself too seriously. The photobomb quickly went viral, with people around the world delighting in the Queen's unexpectedly sassy move. It was a rare glimpse into her sense of humor and her willingness to embrace the lighter side of life, even at the ripe age of 88. Number 2. Mic drop moment with tourists. The late Queen Elizabeth's legendary wit was on full display during an encounter with some unsuspecting American tourists near Balmoral Castle in Scotland. As the story goes, the tourists failed to recognize the Queen in a headscarf and casual clothes who was walking alongside them. In a wonderfully mischievous move, they asked her if she had ever met the Queen. Without missing a beat, Her Majesty replied with perfect deadpan delivery, "No, but he has," gesturing towards her protection officer. It was a brilliant mic drop moment that left the tourists dumbfounded when they realized the mistake they'd made. Number 3. Sassy retort to a rude official. Queen Elizabeth was known for her unflappable poise, but she also possessed a delightfully sassy side that occasionally emerged. One such instance occurred during a state visit when an overly officious official unwisely tried to instruct the Queen on what she should and should not say. With typical understatement and quiet dignity, Her Majesty subtly put the officious man in his place with the retort, "Well, he's been telling me what to do for quite a long time, and it seems to have worked so far." The brilliant riposte highlighted her skill at delivering a masterful put-down cloaked in perfect decorum. It served as a gentle reminder that the Queen, with her decades of experience on the throne, was not one to be lectured on protocol. Number 4. No time for delays. Even in her advancing years, the late Queen Elizabeth's famous sense of humor and impatience with delays was very much intact. During one event, Her Majesty was kept waiting for a world leader who was running unforgivably late for their scheduled photo opportunity. As the seconds ticked by, television cameras captured the Queen glancing repeatedly at her watch with an air of humorous impatience and exasperation. The relatable moment showcased that even the stoic monarch was not immune to the frustrations of tardiness and waiting around. Her restrained but unmistakable display of mild irritation provided a humanizing glimpse into the personality behind the regal visage. Number 5. Candid comment on noisy aircraft. Queen Elizabeth was the picture of poise and decorum in public, but she also possessed an endearingly candid side that occasionally peeked through unexpectedly. Such was the case during an outdoor event that was disrupted by the roar of a loud aircraft passing overhead. As the noise persisted, Her Majesty leaned over to a guest standing next to her and quipped with impeccable deadpan delivery, "I hope he was going to a good place." The spontaneous one-liner showcased the late monarch's sharp wit and ability to make light of an awkward, disruptive situation with an understated touch of humor. It was a rare, unscripted moment that allowed a glimpse into her well-developed funny bone. Number 6. Cutting through ceremony at the Chelsea Flower Show. Despite a lifelong adherence to protocol, the late Queen Elizabeth was not afraid to occasionally brush aside unnecessary pomp and circumstance when the situation called for it. This tendency was on display at the prestigious Chelsea Flower Show when Her Majesty grew restless listening to the long-winded speeches that typically open such events. In a politely impatient move, she was overheard murmuring to an event official, "Ah yes, so now we can see the flowers." With that gently sassy aside, the Queen effectively ended the tedious formalities and moved things along so she could enjoy the true purpose of her visit. It highlighted her no-nonsense nature and ability to refocus on the matter at hand with an economical quip. Number 7. Bond Girl Moment. In one of her most iconic displays of unexpectedly cheeky humor, Queen Elizabeth stole the show at the 2012 London Olympics opening ceremony with a cameo opposite none other than James Bond himself. The sketch opened with Daniel Craig reprising his role as 007, striding into Buckingham Palace to escort Her Majesty to the event. After a tense back and forth, the two seemingly prepared to depart, only for the Queen to gamely quip, "Good evening, Mr. Bond," before the scene cut to a stunt double portraying the monarch leaping from a helicopter and parachuting into the Olympic Stadium. While the short film was clearly staged, it highlighted the late Queen's legendary sense of duty and commitment to her role, but also her ability to let her hair down and embrace a bit of campy, irreverent fun on the world's biggest stage. Number 8. Cake-cutting sword confusion. Protocol was the watchword for the late Queen Elizabeth, but Her Majesty also knew when to employ a touch of gentle, self-effacing humor. This was evident during a memorable incident at a ceremonial event where the Queen was presented with an absolutely enormous cake, along with an equally oversized sword with which to slice it. As confused attendants offered up the impractically huge blade, the monarch paused, seemingly amused by the comical situation. Then, with her trademark twinkle, she dryly remarked, "I think I know what to do. I have something much more useful." With that, she produced a standard cake knife from her purse and proceeded to cut into the dessert with her typical grace and self-assurance. It was a lovely unscripted moment that allowed a peek at the Queen's down-to-earth personality. Number 9. Polite rebuke of Berlusconi. Queen Elizabeth was the very personification of decorum and diplomacy during her 7 decades on the throne. However, even she was not immune to the occasional need to gently put a boorish world leader in their place. Such was the case during a G20 summit when the notoriously brusque Silvio Berlusconi, then Prime Minister of Italy, committed a breach of protocol by shouting to get someone's attention across the room. The late monarch's quiet yet unmistakable disapproval was evident as she politely arched an eyebrow and murmured, "What is he doing?" It was an elegant, withering rebuke delivered with quintessential understatement. Her Majesty's deft handling highlighted her talent for dressing down impolitic behavior without causing a diplomatic incident. Number 10. Sharp repartee with former PM Blair. For over 7 decades, Queen Elizabeth was Britain's steady, reassuring presence through prime ministers of varying ideologies and temperaments. However, even the most experienced leaders were occasionally on the receiving end of the monarch's droll wit. A prime example occurred during an interaction with former PM Tony Blair, who remarked to Her Majesty about the many prime ministers she had seen come and go over her long reign. Without missing a beat, the Queen dryly volleyed back, "But weren't you one of them?" The perfectly timed retort was a charming demonstration that even the ultimate statesperson and diplomat was not averse to some polite banter. It was a human moment that reminded all of the lively personality behind the Queen's steadfast public visage. Number 11. Dealing with intrusive magpies. While the late Queen Elizabeth maintained an air of unflappable dignity in public, those closest to her knew she'd also possessed a wonderfully pragmatic, no-nonsense side. This down-to-earth nature was on full display during a photo shoot at Balmoral Castle that was repeatedly interrupted by some rather brazen magpies. As the pesky birds continued to intrude and disrupt the proceedings, most would have expected the monarch to simply stutter through the frustrations or call for the birds to be shooed away. However, Her Majesty took a much more practical and unexpectedly humorous approach. Pulling out a pouch of dog biscuits from her pocket, the Queen proceeded to toss the treats to distract and scatter the feathered pests. The deft maneuver allowed the photo session to continue undisturbed, while showcasing the late monarch's legendary poise and her willingness to take an amusingly straightforward tack to solve a problem. Number 12. Signing the Civil Partnership Register. Progress often moves at a gradual pace, but Queen Elizabeth consistently demonstrated an ability to move with the times while maintaining her signature grace and wit. A prime example came in 2005 when the legalization of civil partnerships in the UK allowed same-sex couples to obtain rights similar to traditional marriages. Upon being asked to sign the official register at one such civil partnership, the Queen offered up a drolly humorous quip that nodded to the societal shift in an impishly good-natured way. With a mischievous twinkle in her eye, Her Majesty questioned the newlyweds. "Well, which one of you is the man?" The gentle joke broke the ice and allowed the couple to chuckle along with the 79-year-old monarch's display of characteristic humor and acceptance. Number 13. Addressing a rowdy reception. Even at the advanced age of 96, the late Queen Elizabeth's unparalleled ability to command a room had not diminished in the slightest. This was evident during a rather boisterous banquet reception that threatened to spiral out of control as guests grew increasingly loud and unruly. With deft understatement, Her Majesty deftly recaptured the room's attention by giving a delicate tap to her glass and wryly remarking, "I think it's my turn now." The gentle yet firm interjection brought the raucous scene to an immediate hush, as all eyes turned in a hushed deference to the diminutive figure holding court. It was a masterclass in restoring decorum through an economical comedic aside, and a reminder that even in her twilight years, the Queen's unmistakable presence and sly wit remained as formidable as ever. Number 14. Candid thoughts on long photo shoots. Despite being an international figurehead who spent decades perfecting a polished public persona, the late Queen Elizabeth was also unafraid to express her more relatable human side when the situation called for it. One such disarmingly candid episode occurred following an interminable photo session that had dragged on far too long for anyone's liking. As she finally broke away, the exhausted monarch was overheard quietly grousing to a nearby aide, "There's a limit." It was a simple understated aside, but one that highlighted Her Majesty's endearingly down-to-earth nature and distaste for excessive formalities. Even kings and queens could grow impatient with lengthy obligations, it seemed. The unvarnished sentiment allowed a brief glimpse past the veil of pomp and regality. Number 15. Playful interaction with Paddington Bear. In the final years of her remarkable reign, Queen Elizabeth remained fully committed to her duties while also displaying an ever-sharper flair for endearing self-parody. This tendency was delightfully embodied in a televised sketch that aired as part of the late monarch's Platinum Jubilee celebrations in 2022. The adorable segment depicted the Queen engaging in a charmingly silly tea time with the beloved children's character Paddington Bear. As the iconic Ursine antihero caused this typical well-meaning chaos in the Queen's private quarters, Her Majesty gamely played the straight woman while displaying a twinkle of mischief. The skit culminated with the two co-conspirators gleefully showcasing their shared penchant for carrying marmalade sandwiches in their handbags for emergencies. It was a disarmingly whimsical performance that allowed the 96-year-old Queen to play up her reputation for unflappability while simultaneously lampooning it in the most charming way. Late Queen Elizabeth was the very embodiment of regal dignity and duty, but as we've seen through these delightfully sassy moments, Her Majesty also had an unexpectedly mischievous side that she wasn't afraid to let shine through from time to time. Whether it was politely putting rude officials in their place, photobombing some unsuspecting athletes, or embracing her playful side with a certain beloved children's character, the late Queen consistently demonstrated her sparkling wit and gift for gentle self-parody. The Queen's ability to keep her sharp sense of the absurd well into her 90s was a testament to her eternal youthfulness of spirit. So what was your favorite unexpectedly sassy moment from the Queen? Which story allowed you to see Her Majesty's personality shine through most vividly? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed getting to know the more playful side of the late monarch, be sure to give this video a like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!